This is a quick video to demonstrate the controls of a 3-channel airplane. This is the Hobbyzone Mini Super Cub. For someone who's moved up from a 2-channel to a 3-channel, this is just sort of a basic video to show you how the trim and how the controls work. With this plane, always turn on the transmitter first before you plug in the battery on the airplane, because there's no switch on this, and sometimes it can go a little crazy if there's no signal. This one, you'll always hear it twitching when you plug the battery in. Mine always did that, and I've never had a problem, so I'm assuming it's normal. This airplane has the ACT feature, the anti-crash technology. I don't use it. If you want to turn it off, you push in on the right stick and the light will begin to flash, and that means that it's off. So now you can do loops and things like that. In order to get the motor to start for the first time with this plane, you have to pull down on the stick and you'll hear a tone from the plane, meaning that the motor's armed, and then from that point it will go. Now it's armed. These are your basic functions: power, pull back to go up, push forward to go down, obviously left and right. Now your trim buttons on these are digital instead of a sliding switch. So take a look at your airplane, and if your rudder when it's on is too much to the left or too much to the right, you can adjust it with these buttons here, and your up and down on your elevator you can adjust with these buttons. You'll hear different tones. That tells you that it's set the whole way to the right. As you go back to the left, you hear the long tone. That's in the middle. That's where it should be centered. And then you go to the far left, you'll hear another. You can't go any farther. Same thing with the up and down. You also have a trim for your power too, the same way. If these buttons don't get your rudder or your elevator where it should be, you can adjust it on the plane by loosening these little set screws here. They're just finger screws. You loosen them, and then you can move your control rod in and out to straighten your rudder to where you need it, or your elevator. When flying this plane, take off with full throttle if you take off from the ground, and just very gradually, these sticks are very light, so very gradually pull back. Any movements you make left or right, just do very little. It's real easy to go like that and slam it over or up and down, and that's going to cause problems unless you're real high and you have enough altitude to recover. The key to flying this plane good is light movements. Your basic controls: left, right. Check your up and down. If you want to make a sharper turn with a 3-channel, as you're turning left or right, give it a little bit of up elevator, which you would pull down, and that will help it turn sharper. Once I get up to altitude where I'm comfortable, I usually only go maybe a quarter or half throttle, and this plane flies pretty good that way. And I'll also shut it down and let it glide a lot. I've gotten 15-minute flights out of these 300 milliamp LiPo batteries. On mine here, I made these 1/8" plywood wheels that go right over the original foam wheels, and then screw the end cap back on, and they work really well, and it helps it land in stones without nosing over and take off better in stones. Still not really good for grass. I could make bigger ones. But before it almost wouldn't work at all in stones, but now it works pretty good. This plane will cut the power to the motor when your battery reaches a certain voltage and it gets low enough. You can glide it in usually really well for a decent landing. It takes a little while to get used to this. Cruise is pretty fast when you're coming in for a landing, but it is pretty easy to land once you get the hang of it. And you want to glide it in slow with the 3-channel, and then just before it lands, just when you're a little bit above the ground, pull back a little bit and flare, and it'll land real nice. This is a great plane. It makes it really easy to learn flying a 3-channel. Once you have the trim all set right on this plane, it should pretty much fly straight by itself. If you start getting into a dive or you're climbing too fast and it wants to stall, just let go of everything and it should straighten itself out. If not, if you're climbing too fast and you want to level it out with a 3-channel, just push forward a little on the elevator to bring the nose down. Pretty simple. That's about all there is to say. Just going to take a little bit of practice, and this plane is really tough. I've crashed it nose first into the street surface from about the height of a decent sized tree, right on the nose, and this is the same propeller, the same cone. Nothing broke. The only thing that happened was the landing gear popped out, and that only crashed because I had to force it down so it wouldn't go in the tree. So it's just a really great plane.